Hey everybody, Ryan Mougey here with Throwin Mitts, back again for the exciting UFC 280 event happening this Saturday, October 22nd, 2022 in Abu Dhabi, which is going to be incredible. The main card starts at 2 p.m. and the prelims here over on the East Coast at 10 a.m. So I'll be up bright and early with a cup of coffee, maybe a little Jameson in there, we'll make it Irish, and we'll be watching the fight. So I'm very excited. We've got a great episode for you today with a great guest. He's got a lot of knowledge on the UFC, and I'm excited to have some banter with him. My guest today is Kyle Schultz, everybody. All right. How you doing, brother?
What's up? Doing great.
Dude, so you've been watching the UFC for a while. You've got some experience in the game.
Oh yeah. I've been watching it since probably my sophomore year of high school is when I got big into it.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, a couple fights here and there, but other than that, sophomore year was when I hell bent on UFC.
Dude, that's incredible. And me is more recent, getting fucking balls deep in UFC. I can't get enough of it. But, that's what Throwin Mitts is all about. We want new fans. We want old fans. We want everybody to be able to get in on this and have some fun. So with my last event, UFC Vegas 62, the recap on that one, I went 9-2 on the event. I'm very excited about that. That takes my overall to 70 wins, 38 losses with a 64% win rate. I'm hoping to carry on, build on that because I had taken a couple weeks off. I had taken a break just because of travel and some other things. And it turned out when I came back, I was just juiced up, ready to go. I picked 9 out of the 11 fights correctly with the winner. So enough banter. Are you ready to get into this?
Big time.
All right, let's do it. We're going to go ahead and pull it up here. Sharing the screen. So as you know, we always start with the main event of each and every card, and that is Oliveira versus Makhachev. And we're going to get into it here. Charles Oliveira, the plus 155 underdog. He is the number 1 ranked fighter in the lightweight division, and he's going to be taking on the minus 180 Islam Makhachev, the number 4 ranked fighter in the lightweight division. Charles Oliveira debuted August 1st of 2010, so he's been in the game for a long time. He is a jiu-jitsu specialist, 33 years old, on a 11-fight win streak, and he hasn't lost since 2017 against the now announcer Paul Felder. So he's got 21 wins by submission, and I think this is going to be a really, really interesting matchup just because of the styles that both of these fighters bring. Obviously, Islam bringing Sambo into the ring. Islam debuted May 23rd of 2015. He's 31 years old on a 10-fight win streak. He's got 10 wins by submission, and he has not lost since 2015. And his first and only loss was his first fight in the UFC. So what do you think about this matchup right off the rip, Kyle?
Dude, what I think about this matchup is this is a great one, man. It's 2 grapplers going after it, and I think that's always fun to watch, dude. Charles Oliveira's got I believe, the most submissions or finishes in the UFC history.
So yeah, this is high-level grappling.
Oh, yeah, big time. And Makhachev is, Habib's prodigy. And, in the build up to this fight, it's like they said Habib's name 1,000 times. It's almost like he's fighting Oliveira. But regardless of that, I think this is going to be a great one, dude. I think they're definitely going to take it to the ground, and we're going to see who the real Cobra is of the two.
Dude, I love it. Let's look at a little bit deeper into the matchup stats. 33 wins, 8 losses with 1 no contest for Oliveira. 22 wins with 1 loss for Islam, both coming off of wins in their last fight. Oliveira is going to have the 4-inch reach advantage, which could come into play if this ends up being a striking matchup. Maybe their grappling is so advanced that it cancels each other out and this one stays on the feet. Looking at the significant strike numbers, 3.53 landed per minute at a 53% significant strike rate for Oliveira, and he's only absorbing 3.18 per minute. His defense at 52%. Islam, 2.27 at a 57% strike rate, and he's only absorbing 0.84 with a 68% defense. Now, you know what? It gets really interesting. You see the absorb per minute is 0.84, not even 1 for Islam. And I think that's a direct correlation to these grappling numbers. He's looking to take you down immediately, truly. I mean, that's his fight style. But both of these guys looking to take it to the mat. 2.46 takedowns on average over 15 minutes at a 40% takedown accuracy for Charles, 57% takedown defense, and his submission being 2.89. So he's looking to throw up the submissions constantly, which, I mean, one wrong move and you're fucked. Takedown average for Islam, 3.41 over 15 minutes at a 65% takedown accuracy, and his takedown defense being 88%, which is pretty good, especially in this matchup. All right, and with that, Kyle, as the guest, I'll let you go ahead and make the first pick of the night. Who do you got in this one?
So I think with the biggest one with this one, bro, is if you look at their last 5, right? Islam's last 5 is Bobby Green, Dan Hooker, Thiago Moses, Drew Dober, and Davi Ramos. Okay, you know Bobby Green and Dan Hooker. Bobby Green's a veteran. Dan Hooker's just a tough son of a bitch. But if you look at Oliveira's last 5, Gaethje, Poirier, Chandler, Ferguson, and Kevin Lee, and he knocked out Chandler.
Yeah,
come on now. Those 5 is a major step up in competition. And Islam is also taking a major step up in competition. He's never fought anybody like Oliveira. So I think usually Oliveira takes the cake on this one. He's going to take his back and submit Islam. I don't think Islam's never seen nothing like this.
And I'm right there with you. A lot of these matchups for UFC 280 were so difficult to pick. Seriously, like I'm on the edge about damn near every one of them. But I think you're right in saying, looking at their last 5, the competition that both of these fighters have faced, and certainly, obviously, Oliveira, some big names, huge names in the fight game. While they may not be in their prime anymore, they're still definitely, they bring a lot to the table. And truthfully, I try not to look at, Twitter and other things and let anybody else dictate where my picks are at, right? I try to just go by my gut. You know what I mean? And, my gut is telling me Islam Makhachev in this fight. So I think it makes for a really fun fight. And I truly don't know where it's going to go. But you got to admit, every single fighter in the Khabib camp is a straight killer. You know what I mean? And obviously, Oliveira has a lot to fight for. He's trying to regain his title. He's
hungry.
And Islam, he says this is his dream. This is everything he's ever wanted. This is the big goal. So both of these fighters have a ton riding on this fight. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out this Saturday at 2 p.m. when the main card starts. So, Kyle, your first pick being Charles Oliveira, and I am going with Islam Makhachev. All right. I like it. So that's the main event, and we're going to get moving right along to a bantamweight title bout between Aljamain Sterling, the -170 favorite, and number 2 ranked bantamweight TJ Dillashaw, the +145 underdog. A little bit about these fighters. Aljamain debuted February 22nd of 2014. He is a kickboxer. He's 33 years old on a 7-fight win streak, and he's got 8 wins by submission. TJ Dillashaw debuted December 4th of 2011. He is a Muay Thai fighter, 36 years old, with 8 wins by knockout. Just based on that info, what are you thinking, Kyle?
Man, I know it says that Aljamain's a striker, but man, that dude can wrestle. That dude can grapple. Obviously, he's got 8 submissions, dude. He held Jan down, I believe, an entire round. Jan didn't get very much offense in at all, if I'm not mistaken. And I mean, dude, if you want me to be honest, man, Dillashaw's off his juice, bro. They're testing him up. He already got busted, twice already. Yeah. So I think Aljamain's gonna go in there. I think he's gonna defend his title, man. I think he's gonna take him down and get it there.
I love it. Let's take a closer look at the matchup stats because I do agree. TJ Dillashaw, he's already been the champion, and I'll tell you what, to regain that title twice. It's already hard enough to do it once. You know what I mean? Like, that is a huge accomplishment. And I just don't think off the juice and whatnot, he's got it in him to regain that title again. But we'll get a little bit deeper here. Aljamain, 21 wins, 3 losses. TJ Dillashaw, 18 wins, 4 losses, both coming off of wins in their last fight. Aljamain with the 1-inch height advantage and a couple inches in the reach. I believe that is 4 inches in the reach, maybe 5. Looking at the significant strike numbers, personally, I think these are in Aljamain's favor as well. 4.56 landed per minute at a 50% significant strike rate. His absorbed per minute is nice and low, 2.24 with a 60% defense. On the other hand, Dillashaw, more production, 5.26 landed per minute at a 41% significant strike rate. His absorbed per minute just a tad higher, 3.27 with a 63% defense. The grappling numbers, very even in this one, 1.71 takedown average over 15 for Sterling, 21% takedown accuracy with a 41% takedown defense. Now, because we know Aljamain can wrestle and whatnot, and if that's where he's got to take this fight, look at that takedown defense for Dillashaw, 86%. I think that could play a factor in this one. If he can't take Dillashaw to the mat, he might have, a fight on his hands while, trying to stand up and duke it out, throw the mitts, one might say. Am I right? But I think this is going to be an interesting fight. But I'm going to agree with you, Kyle, and I'm going to have to say Aljamain holds on to that title, and he takes care of Dillashaw in this one in the co-main here.
Oh yeah.
All right, you ready to move on?
Big time.
All right,
this is my favorite one, by the way.
Yeah, this one is exciting because truly I don't know how the fuck this one's going to play out. We have a bantamweight bout between number 1 ranked Petr Yan, the minus 305 favorite, and Sugar Sean O'Malley, the number 11 ranked bantamweight, and also the plus 255 underdog. A little bit about these fighters. Petr Yan debuted June 23rd of 2018. He's a boxer, 29 years old, with 7 wins by knockout and 3 first-round finishes. Sugar Sean O'Malley debuted July 18th of 2017. He's 27 years old with 11 wins by knockout and 9 first-round finishes. And a little bit deeper on Sugar Sean O'Malley, I got deeper into his fighter profile. Before he was a fighter, he worked with mentally disabled people in a group home. I thought that was pretty wholesome. And looking deeper, he's got the 4-inch height advantage and the 5-inch reach advantage. What do you think about this?
Dude, I've always loved watching Sean O'Malley, man. He's so crafty, so shifty, light on the feet. But,
yeah,
a real big one is if Yan attacks his legs, man. Cheeto Vera attacked his legs, gave him drop foot. He couldn't really put pressure on that foot, and that's obviously led to his demise in round 1.
Mm-hmm.
But, if Sean O'Malley can keep him at range and, maybe check some of those kicks like he was versus Munoz, maybe step in there and fucking deliver some shots to Yan, bro, because this dude can absorb shots, bro. It's insane. It's insane. He can send them back too. He's got the fastest hands I've ever seen Petr does. So if Sean O'Malley can keep him at range, use his reach to his own advantage, bro, I think Sean O'Malley can get it done.
Yeah, I think the range is going to be very important in this fight, especially, even Sugar Sean has said he's been fighting 5-6 fighters his entire career. This is nothing new to him. This is just the best of the best of this archetype that he's been fighting. A deeper look into it, Petr Yan, 16 wins, 3 losses, a loss in his last fight to Aljamain, of course. 15 wins, 1 loss for Sugar Sean with a no contest in his last fight, unfortunately. I really wanted to see how that one was going to play out, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
This is interesting because this gets me super excited for the fight. 5.45 landed per minute at a 53% significant strike rate for Yan, 3.88 absorbed per minute, a little high, but a 61% defense. 7.75 landed per minute at a 62% significant strike rate for O'Malley with a 3.48 absorbed per minute, very similar to Yan there with a 64% defense. The grappling numbers in Yan's favor, 1.48 at a 61% takedown accuracy with a 90% takedown defense. So if O'Malley gets in trouble here, I think he's going to have a hard if Yan's finding success on the feet and O'Malley's like, oh shit, I need to take this to the mat or even try to switch it up, I think he's going to have a hard time. So he better hope that he's going to be able to fare against the boxer Petr Yan. But
when this is a huge step up in competition for Sean O'Malley.
That's right.
I mean, his last 5 doesn't even nearly compare to Jan's last 5.
Mm-hmm.
Sean O'Malley was, the can crusher of the UFC, so everybody said, whereas Petr Yan's been fighting for titles, defending his belt, stepping in there and really putting his head on the line. But that also shows that Sean O'Malley's really never been cracked. Sean O'Malley's chin's really, it's never really been tested. Yeah, Chito Vera, delivered some pretty nasty elbows to him, but Petr Yan stepped in there with the best of the best, so he's been hit by the best of the best. So his chin's been cracked by the best of the best. So, how much does that chin have left? Who knows? But I really seriously think, man, Sean O'Malley is going to deliver something, and I think Sean O'Malley might be able to get it done, man.
I like it, man, and I'm gonna have to go with Petr Yan in this one. I like Yan. Everything you said about him, he's been fighting the best of the best. He's been in the cage with the best competition possible, and of course, it's been a different come up for Sugar Sean O'Malley. You know what I mean? He's doing it, quote unquote, the right way, as people would say. You know what I mean? He's working up, he's building up that competition, and he's getting to where he is now. But I feel like he worked up and then all of a sudden they just shot him. He's 11 ranked and now he's fighting the number 1 guy. So
huge step up.
Yeah, ginormous step up. So I think it's going to be a really interesting fight, but I'm going to go with Petr Yan in this one. And make sure you're writing. Well, obviously you've probably taken some notes. Write down who you've picked and whatnot. And so you can see what your record is after the main event or after this exciting pay-per-view card. And everybody out there listening, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate all the love and support. And really, we're just having fun out here. All right, and that leads us to our next fight between Beneil Dariush, the number 6 lightweight, and also the plus 165 underdog, and Matthias Gamrat, the number 9 ranked lightweight, the minus 195 favorite. A little bit about these fighters. Dariush debuted January 15th of 2014. He is an all-around mixed martial artist, 33 years old, on a 7-fight win streak with 8 wins by submission. And coming into this fight, will have the 2-inch reach advantage. Gamrat, on the other hand, debuted October 17th of 2020. He's a wrestler, 31 years old, on a 4-fight win streak and 7 wins by knockout. What do you think so far, Kyle?
So the big one I've seen with this is that Gamrat is real light on his feet. He's real shifty. Yeah, he's gonna wrap you up like a cobra. But Beneil Dariush is real heavy on his feet. He steps real heavy, and he leaps into his shots real heavy.
Yeah.
But one of the craziest things about Beneil Dariush, how they say a wounded animal is dangerous. That's one of the most dangerous people I've ever seen wounded, dude. He's come back from some of the craziest stuff I've seen, bro. Beneil Dariush has. So I think, if and he has really good submission skills. He wrapped Tony Ferguson up and was putting Tony Ferguson in pain, possibly, ripped some stuff up in his arm. So I think either on the feet or on the ground, Beneil Dariush is going to catch Gamrat, and I think he's going to take it home. You
think he's going to serve him his second loss of his career? Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Beneil, 21 wins, 4 losses, and 1 draw, a win in his last fight. Gamrat, 21 wins, 1 loss, and 1 no contest, a win in his last fight as well. The significant strikes, 3.8 landed per minute at a 49% significant strike rate for Dariush, 2.58 absorbed per minute with a 58% defense, 3.54 landed per minute in Gamrat's favor with a 51% significant strike rate, 3.19 absorbed per minute at a 63% defense. Now, these grappling numbers is where it really tips it off to me. 2.11 takedown average over 15 minutes for Dariush. That means he's comfortable on the ground, as you talked about. So I think they're even in that sense. Like they'll both be okay if this goes to the mat. 34% takedown accuracy with an 81% takedown defense. 4.83 takedown average over 15 minutes at a 35% takedown accuracy with a 90% takedown defense. And I think basically this cancels each other out. Although Gamrat has a higher takedown average, I think it really cancels out just because their takedown defense is going to be so good that I think this fight will be handled on the feet. And if that's the case, I just see it going in Gamrat's favor. Like you said, he's quicker, he's faster, lighter on the feet. But if Dariush catches him with one of those power shots, again, it's game over. All it takes is one fucking hit. You know what I mean?
Equalizer.
And the fight is over. So I'm going to have to go with Gamrat in this fight.
Yeah, man, I think Dariush brings it home, man. I think he's gonna clip him.
All right. I like it, man. I like it. You're seeing two sides of the coin here, folks. And that leads us to a women's flyweight bout between number 1 ranked Caitlyn Chokugan, the plus 155 underdog, and Manon How do you say it, Kyle?
Foyro,
the number 6 ranked women's flyweight. She is also the minus 180 favorite. All right. And this is actually going to be the first fight of the main card that starts at 2 p.m. Again, main card at 2 p.m., prelims 10 a.m. here on the East Coast. All right, Caitlyn Chokugan debuted July 14th of 2016. She's an all-around mixed martial artist, 33 years old, on a 4-fight win streak. Coming into this one, she'll have a 3-inch reach advantage and a 2-inch height advantage. So she's going to be the bigger fighter here. But she is going to be fighting a monster in Manon. How'd you say it again?
Manon Foyro.
She debuted January 20th of 2021. She is a karate specialist, 32 years old, on a 9-fight win streak, 6 first-round finishes, and before fighting, she was a firefighter. But I'll tell you what, she is one of the fighters on the rise, Kyle. I think this is going to be fireworks, truly, the first fight on the main card in Abu Dhabi. I think this is going to be a great one.
Oh, yeah. I hope they go in there swinging and banging, man.
Swinging and banging, throwing the mitts. Chokugan, 18-4 with a win in her last fight. 9-1 for Manon with a win in her last fight. Looking at the significant strikes, 4.56 landed per minute at a 35% significant strike rate, and 4.26 absorbed per minute. That's a little high for my liking, but a 63% defense for Caitlyn. Manon, 5.61 landed per minute at a 53% significant strike rate. The absorbed per minute just a tad lower, 3.65, with a 49% defense. So I think it's going to be interesting on the feet. And really, the grappling numbers are non-existent for both of these ladies. So I think it's going to be taken care of on the feet. And I'm going to have to go with Manon in this one. And I don't know why I second-guess myself. She is on the rise. Caitlyn's kind of been the gatekeeper for Shevchenko. And I think this is just another step in, this women's flyweight division that needs a little bit of mix-up. They need fighters for Shevchenko, and I think Manon is going to be that fighter.
Man, I think she's a tough SOB. Manon is, bro, but I'm going to have to disagree, and I think Chokugan's going to get it done, man.
All right.
But
I like it.
Foyro was a champion for UAE. I don't know what that stands for. I didn't do enough research on it, but she was a champion in the past for a prior organization.
All right. So, hell yeah.
So I wouldn't doubt it. I'm not going to counter out. It's hard to counter out, but I think Chokugan's gonna go in there and get it done.
I think it's going to be very interesting. And Chokugan, she trains with some of the best as well. Frankie Edgar and everybody in that camp. So I think it's going to be exciting to watch how this fight plays out. That is the end of the main card coverage here on Throwin Mitts. Everyone, be sure to tune in at 2 p.m. for that main card. The prelims on ESPN, ESPN Plus, all that stuff. So you won't have to pay for it. We're going to go through that one. I mean, these prelims, Kyle, are just as good as that main card. You know what I mean? Like every single fight on this card is fucking amazing. So I'm really excited about it. Again, if you like what we're doing here at Throwin Mitts, like, comment, subscribe, and let's get started on these prelims. All right. And it starts, well, the featured bout on the prelims is going to be a welterweight fight between the number 5 ranked Bilal Muhammad, the plus 120 underdog, and Sean Brady, the number 8 ranked welterweight. Brady being the minus 140 favorite. A little bit about these fighters. Bilal Muhammad debuted July 7th of 2019. He's 34 years old on a 3-fight win streak. A win over Vicente Luque in his last one. Sean Brady debuted October 18th of 2019. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specialist, 29 years old, and he's 15-0 in professional fights. But I will say he's 5-0 in the UFC. So not all of those 15 fights happened in the UFC. So we don't know what the competition was like. Looking at this one, where do we start, Kyle?
We start at both of these dudes are going to ride this fight out to a decision. I don't see this fight ending in a finish, ending in anybody being, knocked unconscious on the mat. Both of these dudes' last 5 have basically all been, other than Bilal Muhammad versus Edwards, which was an awful, awful eye poke. All of them have been, besides, and Sean Brady does have 2 submissions. Sorry. Sean Brady does have 2 submissions under his belt, but I don't see him submitting Bilal Muhammad. I see this one going to a decision. And it's just going to depend on who's tougher, who doesn't get knocked down the most, and who asserts their dominance the best.
I think this fight, if it goes to decision, Bilal gets the win. I think Sean Brady needs a finish to win over Bilal, because look at this. Bilal Muhammad wins 96% of his fights via decision. That's his fight style. So if Sean Brady falls into that and lets this just drag along and he just plays into Muhammad's fight style, I think it's going to be an easy route to victory for Muhammad. But if Sean Brady comes out and he's able to really put the pressure on Muhammad, catch him with a couple, I think it'll go in Brady's favor. But I want this fight to stay on the feet, just because I know if it goes on the ground, it's going to be a stalemate, truly. So I'd like to see these guys stay on the feet, throw the mitts, and see what happens. 4.31 landed per minute at a 43% significant strike rate for Muhammad, 3.58 absorbed per minute at a 59% defense. Very similar for Brady, 3.91 landed per minute at a 54% significant strike rate, which is better, 3.22 absorbed per minute with a 62% defense. The grappling numbers are, I think they're so similar that they're really going to cancel each other out here. 2.29 takedown average for Muhammad, just a 35% takedown accuracy, but a 91% takedown defense. 3.22 over 15 minutes for Brady with a 60% takedown accuracy. I will say that's something to look at. And his takedown defense being 87%. So again, I think those grappling numbers really cancel each other out. And I think we're going to see this fight. If it goes on the ground, it's going to decision. But if they stand and throw the mitts, I think it could go either way. What's your pick in this one?
Man, this is a hard one, dude. This is a real hard one. I don't think that Sean Brady is going to be able to take down Muhammad. He's also, been in the Habib camp. He's been grinding the mats with them and stuff. So I don't see Sean Brady outweighing or outbalancing him and throwing him on the mat or anything like that. So I think it's going to go to decision. He's going to ride it out, do exactly what he's done in 96% of his fights, and he's just going to grind it out cat and mouse and win it decision.
Yeah. I totally agree. So I'm with you on that one. Bilal Muhammad gets the win and hands Sean Brady his first loss in his professional career. All right, moving right along. We have a middleweight bout between Makhmud Muradov, the plus 190 underdog from Uzbekistan, and Kyle Schultz, one of my favorite fighters actually from Brazil, the minus 225 favorite. A little bit about these guys. Muradov debuted September 28th of 2019. He's an all-around mixed martial artist, 32 years old, with 17 wins by knockout and a 3-inch height advantage coming into this one. Kyle Schultz, part of the Fighting Nerds Club, debuted he debuted April 16th of 2022. And he is an all-around mixed martial artist, 29 years old, on a 9-fight win streak. Looking at this one right off the rip, what do you think, Kyle?
Man, I'm thinking that the younger guy is looking as you said, the nerds of the UFC, it's like they just want to know everything. They just want to know as much as they can about the sport, know as much as they can about every single martial art. And I mean, from what it looks like, this dude's a striker. This Mahmoud Muradov, he's a striker. So and he lost his last fight. So although he's hungry, man, this child Baralho, I think I don't know their ages, but he appears to be younger. It's only his second fight. He's got second fight in the UFC. He's got 13 under his belt.
Yep.
I think the younger guy in the Brazilian gets it done.
Yeah.
Baralho.
Muradov is 32 years old, and Kyle Bahayo is 29 years old.
Okay, so 3 years. So that's not much.
Yeah. Muradov, 25 wins, 7 losses in his professional career again. And that's crazy. He debuted in the UFC in 2019. So outside of the UFC, he's obviously been busy. A loss in his last fight. Kyle Bahayo, 12 wins, 1 loss, 1 no contest, a win in his last one. I've been watching him very closely, and I seriously love his fight style. And I think he's going to have a lot of success in the future. And he's been fighting a lot since he debuted earlier this year. The significant strikes, I will say, are interesting in this one. 5.39 landed per minute at a 42% significant strike rate for Muradov. 3.17 absorbed per minute at a 61% defense. 2.72 landed per minute, less, but 62% significant strike rate. He's making more out of his strikes, and he's barely being hit. 1.82 absorbed per minute at a 61% defense for Kyle Bahayo. 0.31 takedown average at a 16% takedown accuracy, although he does have an 80% takedown defense for Mahmoud. Bahayo, though, 2.63 takedown average at an 80% takedown accuracy and a 75% takedown defense. Those numbers are very, very good. And I think Kyle Bahayo gets the win in this one, whether it's on the ground, whether it's on the feet. He's going to find a way to win. Not saying it's going to be an easy win, but I think he will find a path to victory.
It appears that way for me, too. I think he's going to chop him up on the feet, and then once he does that, Mahmoud's going to try to shoot. I don't think it's going to happen because his takedown accuracy ain't very well. And then he's just going to pound him out, ground and pound, and he has 0 submissions per 15 minutes, so he's never thrown one, never tried one. So why do I have a reason to believe he's gonna, throw one again? So I think Baralho is gonna pound him down on the ground and get it done.
Amazing. We agree on that one, and I'm very excited for that fight. And that is in the prelims that start 10 a.m. Bright and early. All right, next fight is a light heavyweight bout between number 8 ranked Vulcan Ozdemir, the plus 145 underdog from Switzerland, and Nikita Krylov, the number 10 ranked light heavyweight, the minus 170 favorite in this fight, which is very interesting considering Vulcan Ozdemir, he beat Paul Craig in his last fight, and I thought that was a huge win for him. And I was a little bit sad because I really like Paul Craig, but hats off to this guy taking on, an extreme submission artist like Paul Craig. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. And, Ozdemir's beaten Paul Craig. Krylov has lost to Paul Craig.
Yes.
So that's very, very interesting. But, Ozdemir's lost to Prohaska. Krylov just beat Gustafsson, just knocked him out in round 1. So, this was just, another one of those toss-ups where it's like, who's going to catch who first? Who's going to hurt who first?
Yeah, although that Gustafsson fight was just sad. I mean, you could tell that was the end. That was that one was tough to watch. But a little bit about these fighters. Vulcan debuted February 5th of 2017. He's a striker, 32 years old, 12 wins by knockout with 12 first-round finishes as well. Nikita Krylov debuted September 1st of 2013. Karate background, and he's 30 years old. He's got 12 wins by knockout and 22 first-round finishes. And he's got a 2.5 reach advantage coming into this fight. Vulcan Ozdemir, 18-6 with a win in his last fight, as we said. Nikita Krylov, 28-9, also a win in his last fight. The significant strikes. This one's going to be fun to watch, truly, if it stays on the feet. 4.76 landed per minute at a 40% significant strike rate. 3.99 absorbed per minute, a little bit high for my liking at a 56% defense. Nikita, 4.55 landed per minute, 56% significant strike rate. That's pretty good. And a 2.46 absorbed at a 43% defense. The grappling numbers go in Krylov's favor here, 1.41 takedown average over 15 at a 35% takedown accuracy, and his takedown defense being 54. Ozdemir, really no takedown attempts. His takedown accuracy is very low, but his takedown defense pretty good at 86%. And something to look at here, Nikita Krylov, his submission average over 15 minutes being 1.27.
And I think with Krylov, with his last fight, only being one round, obviously everybody goes through a training camp, everybody trains their ass off, but with that being one round, and I mean, I'm not going to say that it's disappointing for him, but maybe he wanted to go in there and show his skills. That's unfortunately the only fight that I've seen him fight. I see that he's on my sheet. I've seen that he's beat Johnny Walker in the past in a decision, and that's also a very big name. But Ozdemir took Paul Craig to a decision. He also beat Aleksandar Rakic, who's a huge contender. He beat him in a decision. So as much of a toss-up as this is, man, I think Ozdemir's seen more of a competition. He's fought the champion. I think Ozdemir gets it done.
I agree. And although Paul Craig's performance wasn't anything very impressive or eye-opening in their last fight, the way he handled that was very it was a very high fighting IQ, the way he handled that Paul Craig fight. So I gained a lot of respect for Ozdemir coming into this one. So I'm going to have to agree with you. Vulcan Ozdemir gets the win Saturday on October 22nd, and I'm excited to see how that one plays out as well. All right, the next fight is a featherweight bout between Zubaira Tukhugov. What do you think about that, Kyle? Was I accurate?
I think so. Kugov. I think so.
Awesome. The -155 favorite from Russia. And Lucas Almeida, the +135 underdog from Brazil. A little bit about these guys. Kugov debuted February 15th of 2014. He is a striker, 31 years old, with 7 wins by knockout and 7 first-round finishes. Lucas Almeida debuted June 4th of 2022. He's a striker, 31 years old, with 9 wins by knockout and 9 first-round finishes. And coming into this fight, he will have a 3-inch height and a 3-inch reach advantage. This one's going to be interesting, truly, because you have a more seasoned fighter in Kugov, and Lucas Almeida is just – he's got it. You know what I mean? He's 14-1 coming into this one. I think it's going to be really interesting. Where do you look first?
It appears that the Russians all know how to grapple. They all know how to take you down, smother you, smash you. As Habib would say, I'm going to smash you. So they're just going to, break you down, smash you. And it appears that this Almeida is a striker. Now, we haven't seen the grappling numbers yet, but it appears that he's a striker. I'm not sure. I unfortunately don't know much about either of these guys. But from what it appears to me that from what the Russians can do grappling, this one's not. Almeida is not going to end up in a very good position on the ground.
I totally agree with you. Let's look a little bit deeper and see what we find in the matchup stats. 20 wins, 5 losses, and 1 draw for Kugov, a win in his last fight. Lucas Almeida, 14-1, like I mentioned, a win in his last fight as well. The significant strike numbers, 2.94 landed per minute at a 39% significant strike rate. The absorbed per minute, 2.84 at a 65% defense. Lucas Almeida, 6.6 landed per minute at a 47% significant strike rate. The absorbed per minute, 5.63. Especially for a striker, that's just got to be better in my eyes for me to have confidence in you. The 48% defense as well. Now, the grappling numbers, as you suspected, to Kugov, 2.46 over 15 minutes at a 43% takedown accuracy, 100% takedown defense. That's going to be big if Almeida gets in trouble in this one. Although he has 0 takedown averages and just a 50% takedown defense. So I totally agree with you, Kyle. I think this is a huge test for Almeida in this fight. And unfortunately, I gotta say I don't think he's gonna pass, and I think Kugov takes the win in this one.
I agree with you. I think Kugov's going to break him down, beat him down, ground and pound, and
Yep,
end up flattening him out.
you're
I agree.
right. Yep, and I think that one's pretty clear cut. So I'm confident about that one. Which not many of these fights have been easy to be totally confident with. So that leads us to our next fight, a welterweight bout between Abubakar Nurmagomedov, the -175 favorite from Russia, and Omar Gadziev, the +150 underdog. Let's see a little bit about these fighters here. All right. Nurmagomedov debuted November 9th of 2019. He's 32 years old, and he's got 6 wins by knockout with 8 first-round finishes. Omar Gadziev debuted April 16th of 2022. He's an all-around mixed martial artist, 29 years old, 8 wins by knockout with 7 first-round finishes. And coming into this one, he will have the 2-inch height advantage. I think this one's going to be very interesting. You have two Russians going at it, and so, those styles can clash. And honestly, both of these fighters have a lot of experience in the cage, and they've done well. So I think this could be a sleeper fight that's going to be very entertaining.
Oh, I agree with you. It looks like 2 hard hitters. Unfortunately, I don't know much about either of these guys either. I don't know if he's related to Habib or not. I know that Habib does have a cousin, Usman and Nurmagomedov, but I don't know if this guy is related to Habib as well. But it appears that it's the old grappler versus striker matchup.
Yeah. So let's look a little bit farther into it. 16 wins, 3 losses with 1 draw for Nurmagomedov, a win in his last fight. Omar Gadziev, 13 wins, 1 loss, his first loss of his professional career in his last fight. The significant strikes, 3.59 landed per minute at a 49% significant strike rate. That's pretty good. With a 2.52 absorbed per minute and a 69% defense. I think that's the highest one we've seen so far. 1.21 landed per minute at a 41% significant strike rate. The absorb per minute pretty good, though, at 1.81 and a 38% defense. Let's look at these grappling numbers, though. They're almost dead even on the takedown averages, being 1.68 and 1.64, while the takedown accuracy is in Omar Gadziev's favor with 66%. So at the end of the day, I think they're so even on their takedown averages that it cancels each other out. And you look at these striking numbers, and they're heavily in Nurmagomedov's favor. So I think this one's pretty clear cut. Although I think it's going to be a great fight, but I think Nurmagomedov takes the win here.
Yeah, I agree with you, dude. I think that in a situation like this, the grappler is always gonna take the cake.
Yep. Yeah. So good matchup, but I think we are pretty confident in that pick there. This one I'm pretty excited about, truly, because these guys are they don't have that much professional experience, and they're both fighting for a lot here, especially on this massive UFC 280 card. So this is a middleweight bout between Armen Petrosyan, the -210 favorite, and AJ Dobson, the +180 underdog. A little bit about these fighters. Armen debuted February 26th of 2022. He's a Muay Thai fighter. He's 31 years old with 6 wins by knockout, 3 first-round finishes, and a 2-inch height advantage. AJ Dobson debuted February 12th of 2022. He's a freestyle fighter, 30 years old with 3 wins by knockout and 5 first-round finishes. Coming into this fight, he will have the 5-inch reach advantage. So he's smaller in height, but he's got longer arms. So that could be interesting if this one decides to stay on the feet. Looking at the matchup stats, Armen Petrosyan, 7-2, a loss in his last fight. And AJ Dobson, 6-1 with 1 no contest, a loss in his last fight as well. So both of these fighters coming off of losses, and they're still early in their careers. So they've got that drive, they got that hunger to try to make that statement and prove themselves on this ginormous stage. where do you start with this fight?
I seen the Contender Series fight that Petrosyan had versus I forgot the guy's name, but he was getting tossed around like a rag doll there for a second. Tossed around. I mean, up in the air, everything getting slammed down. But he overcame the adversity, stood up, and was punching that dude hard as shit, hitting him with leg kicks, kicks to the body, really switching it up, and hitting the body, hitting the legs, up high, low, everything. So I don't know, man. As tough as this one is, dude, both of them coming off a loss, they're both really hungry to stay on the roster, keep their record crisp. So I think Petrosyan is going to step in there and get it done, man. I think he's going to do it.
Yeah. Let's look a little bit deeper into the significant strikes. 5.17 landed per minute at a 54% significant strike rate. That's very good. 2.26 absorbed at a 53% defense for Petrosyan. AJ Dobson, 4.7 landed per minute at a 57% significant strike rate. Even better. But the absorbed per minute, 4.55, a little bit high, and just a 39% defense. So I think definitely if this stays on the feet, Petrosyan, especially with those kicks you mentioned, he's got a real good opportunity to switch up the high-low and really mix up his strikes and take out AJ Dobson on the feet. And for the grappling numbers, they're almost non-existent for Petrosyan, so he's going to want to keep this on the feet. For AJ Dobson, 0.78 takedown average at a 50% accuracy and a 62% takedown defense. So I'm with you. I think Petrosyan takes this one, although two fighters early in their professional careers, I think they're going to put on a show.
Oh, I hope so, man. I think this is, like you call it, one of them sleeper fights. I think this is going to be the sleeper fight of the night right here.
Yeah, definitely. And then we have a fight I'm very, very excited for between Muhammad Mokaev, the minus 645 favorite from the United Kingdom, and Malcolm Gordon, the plus 480 underdog. Now, although you have a large favorite and a big time underdog, I love this fight. Muhammad Mokaev, I'm really I've been keeping my eye on him just like Kyle Bahayo. I like this fighter. He's 8-0 with his professional record, a win in his last one versus, somebody who's more seasoned in their professional career. 14-5 for Malcolm Gordon. Mokaev debuted March 19th of 2022, just a couple months back this year. He's a wrestler, 21 years old with 3 first-round finishes. And I did a little bit more looking into his background and whatnot. He said his hero is Muhammad Ali for being a warrior inside and out of the ring. So I thought that was pretty cool. That's a great person to look up to, especially in the fight game. Well, in and out of the fight game. That's a great role model to have. Malcolm Gordon debuted July 18th of 2020. He's a jiu-jitsu specialist, 32 years old with 6 wins by submission and 8 first-round finishes. What do you think?
Man, I think I love watching the flyweights, dude. They're so fast.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not like, they're throwing so hard, but they're really stepping in there and throwing them quick, piecing together their combinations, man. I really like watching the small guys. And and it seems to be that they're both grapplers. So this might be another one of those, interesting scenarios where can the wrestler smother him enough to, break his submissions, or is this guy just gonna, wrap him up and throw him in a, fold his clothes while he's still in them, as some people call it.
I love it. Let's take a closer look at the numbers here. The significant strikes, 0.88 landed per minute at a 41% significant strike rate. That's so low. But I'll tell you what, he makes up for it. His absorbed per minute, 0.81. He's barely being touched with a 51% defense. Malcolm Gordon, on the other hand, 2.39 landed per minute at a 44% significant strike rate, 2.43 absorbed with a 44% defense. Now look at these grappling numbers, Kyle. Look at these grappling numbers. 11.27 takedown average over 15 minutes for Mokaev at a 46% takedown accuracy. Nobody's ever tried to take him down before because he's doing all that. He's doing all the taking down. And his submission average being 0.94. And Malcolm Gordon, he's no stranger to taking the fight to the mat either. 2.06, a little bit more of an average takedown average over 15 minutes, but only a 25% takedown accuracy. So I think Makhachev is going to be all over this guy, smothering him, and I think Muhammad gets the win in this one. And he's just 21 years old. You know, so early in his career. I think this is just another stepping stone to him really, you know, making a name for himself and another step in his legacy.
Oh, yeah, man. And wrestler versus jiu-jitsu, dude, it's very interesting.
Yes.
And, you know, wrestlers can still put you away. You know, them rear naked chokes that them wrestlers throw in are brutal. Mm-hmm. So, man, this is a tough one. But I think if Makhachev does take Malcolm Gordon down, I think that Gordon's going to throw him in some type of armbar, you know, wrap him up into some Kimura or something, and maybe show him something he's never seen before and put him away.
Wow.
I think the Canadian gets it done today.
All right.
Or Saturday, rather.
Yes, October 22nd. Those prelims starting at 10 a.m., everyone. Great, dude. I love it. I love your pick there. I think it's gonna make for an interesting one. All right, and that brings us to the very first fight of UFC 280 this Saturday, October 22nd. The prelims obviously starting at 10 a.m., like I've said, main card at 2. But this is the very first fight of the night. So hopefully they get him off to, you know, the right foot. And let's get into it. A women's bantamweight bout between number 9 ranked Karol Rosa, minus 250 favorite, and Lena Landsberg, number 12 ranked women's bantamweight from Sweden. She is the plus 210 underdog. Karol Rosa debuted August 31st of 2019. She's a Muay Thai fighter, 27 years old, with 4 wins by knockout and a 2-inch reach advantage in this fight. Lena Landsberg debuted September 25th of 2016. She's a striker. She's 40 years old coming into this one. 4 wins by knockout, 2 first-round finishes, and a 2-inch height advantage. Karol Rosa, she's got game, and it almost feels like they're throwing Lena Landsberg to the wolves in this fight. I truly think that. Karol Rosa, 15 wins, 4 losses, although a loss in her last fight. Lena Landsberg, 10-6, with a loss in her last fight. Where do you start with this one? Partner?
You there?
Yeah.
So, both fighters coming off a loss. You know, as you said, Lena Landsberg, she's 40. She might be being fed to the wolves here. But I don't know, man. I believe you can never count nobody out, especially in the UFC. You know, this is the top competition in the world, man. Mm-hmm. You know, and you know, both women very, very close in size, very close in stature. It appears that they're the same fighting style. So this is a very interesting one.
Yeah, let's look a little bit deeper. The significant strike numbers, 6.65 landed per minute at a 55% significant strike rate. Very good. A little bit high in the absorbed per minute for Rosa, 4.45 at a 50% defense. Lena Landsberg, 2.74 landed per minute at a 55% significant strike rate. Also very good, but not at the volume that Karol Rosa is throwing. Her absorbed per minute being 3.89 with a 45% defense. The grappling numbers also in Rosa's favor, 1.4 over 15 minutes at a 50% takedown accuracy with a 72% takedown defense. Just under 1 for Lena Landsberg, 27% takedown accuracy, and a 48% takedown defense. I think this fight is clear-cut. I think they're setting Karol Rosa up for just a big win right off the bat to start UFC 280, and I think she's going to get it.
Man, I hope these girls come out swinging and banging, like I said earlier, man, and kick things off to a great start. You know, tune everybody in, get everybody in the fighting spirit. And I'm going to have to agree with you. I think Karol Rosa is going to take it home. Although Landsberg does got more knockouts. So, I don't know. How heavy are the hands? How heavy are the hands?
How heavy are they? Well, Kyle, so wait, what's your official pick in that one?
Rosa, I'm gonna have to agree with you. Rosa.
All right. I like it, man. Well, that was super fun, dude. Thank you so much for joining me on Throwin Mitts. This has been incredible, truly. I'm so excited for this event. I think it's going to be awesome. There's a ton of great fights in here, maybe the biggest event of the year, and they're doing it right.
Oh, yeah, I love it, dude. Makhachev versus Oliveira, dude. It's one that I've been hearing about for, almost a year now, and who's going to win, grappler. It's, one of those matchups that I love watching. A lot of people don't like watching the grappling. They just want to see somebody go out there and get knocked out. But, I love it. I love the grappling. I love it when they, who can put who away.
Exactly. So I think we're going to get to see some high-level stuff this Saturday. And, again, thank you so much for being on, and hopefully we see you again in the future.
Appreciate you, man.
All right, brother.